Is that correct?
That's a fair assumption. So I would classify it as a precautionary resolution, giving you the authority but not the obligation to issue warrants should you need to. And I would just point out, and I think Brock would echo this, that a number of school corporations across the state do this, especially at the beginning of the year, because warrants are something that have to be repaid in the year in which they are issued. And so a lot of school corporations undertake the authorization process early in the year to give them the ability to issue them as a cash flow mechanism for any given calendar year.
When we did our emergency loan, this is in place of it, keeps us from having to do that.
Well, and this allows you the benefit of issuing warrants on a tax advantage basis,
Right.
Because you're going through taking the authorization process, and then the only step after that would be to go through the sale process, which is a publish and notice twice a week apart, 15 days prior to a sale. So this checks the box of having board approval, and then all you have to do is go through that sale process. And you can do so on a tax exempt basis.
I make a motion on the resolution that approves the tax anticipation warrant, to, set up for future needs. If need be. As stated in Exhibit C.
My second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve resolution to authorize tax anticipation warrants. Any discussion? What's the percentage chance of actually using that? Do you have any idea? I mean, I know that's.
I don't think the board wants to do it, and I don't think we should have to do it. But I think it's something that
Precautionary thing.
had you done it at the beginning of 2019, you wouldn't have had to do an emergency loan.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the resolution to authorize tax anticipation warrants. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Now, we
passed.
have one other thing that we need to take care of, and that is that you have to approve, or you have to put into the record the fact that you advertised this hearing. And that this is the bill and the proof of publication from the comment that shows that was done, but that needs to be in the legal record, that you advertised the meeting on December 25th of 2019.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the claims, to Carol Comment for $28.12, which shows that we did, do notice for our approval of our $2 million bond, advertised actually on December 25th, 2019 in the Carroll Comment.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor for the motion read. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 7, financial summary by the superintendent.
I just wanted to share some very basic things with you, and that is, obviously, we did pay off our loan, and, but it did leave us, as I said, with very low cash balances, and that's why, I encourage the board to take the action they're taking tonight to pursue the, 2020 GO bond to allow us to restore those balances. Our budget is certified. It increased 12 cents. It went up to $1.05, 1.0575, and most of that raise was a result of debt service, which had not been raised properly the year before, which I believe was an error on the part of DLGF, but we had to correct that, as you know, and so it was taken care of in this new budget. Plus, we added some added expense in operations, so we did see that budget increase. In addition to the financial steps we're taking tonight, I've asked the corporation to limit their spending, especially in January. It's a 3-pay month, and it makes it very critical for us to be able to have funds that in order to pay the salaries of the people that we have employed. We are reviewing staffing as we go. That, you know, there are several positions we did not fill, and we're looking, we've received some resignations over the December break that I think will give us some flexibility to look at our spending for the future. I'd much rather do it through attrition than do it through having to reduce positions, and that's what we're certainly gonna try to do. I want to commend especially Andrea and Leslie Miller, who have worked so hard in here. We have had a lot of problems with errors in our financial procedures and accounting, and that began back in May, and July was the most troublesome time, and we still haven't been able to balance July or understand why it won't balance, but as they do the year end, we're hoping some of those things will show up, and we'll begin to understand that. We had items that were not posted, we had items that were double posted, we had non-payments, and we've had a lot of corrections that we needed to do to be able to balance our funds, or our monthly balances, but we had to find those errors first. And in talking with Andrea and Leslie today, the biggest issue they've seen is inconsistency. That we did not do things the same way, we did not do them as they should have been done in a timely manner, and we have changed all that, but it's been a painful process. So we have that. We have implemented the internal controls. Chris mentioned the double signing of the checks. We are now gonna have all of the people that work in here bonded, and we are gonna have several new budget lines that match with Gateway. That's gonna make our accounting much more efficient and much more trackable, which has been a real problem. If you would ask me what we've spent on certain things in 2019, I might have to look at 5 or 6 or 8 different accounts to find them, and that shouldn't be the case. And so we are working on that. The one final thing I would say, I would like to really compliment the Teachers Association for working with us. It was a very cordial process, and I think it was a contract that benefited both parties considering our financial situation. So they have been on board, and we really appreciate their cooperation, Mr. Khan.
Well, we appreciate the board and you, excuse me, for what you've done, and we realize you're in a difficult situation, but being here tonight, we see that you're riding the ship, and coming up here and seeing how hard the central office staff is working, and coming in day after day and facing a daunting task, I think we're very, very fortunate. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Any questions for Mr. Long?
Got a quick one. As far as our electrical for our lights, softball lights, is that an ongoing thing yet, or?
The line is installed.
Okay.
Now we're waiting for Energy Wear to come back. They're the ones that have to make the final connections for the softball lights and the parking lot lights to work. And they've been a little difficult to contact.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions? Okay, future dates. January 20th at 6 o'clock, we'll have an exec session here. January 20th at 7 o'clock, we'll have a Board of Finance meeting, and January 20th at 7:15, a regular session here. Board comments. Mr. Strasser, do you have any comments?
Nothing immediately, so, but, glad to join the board, and, look forward to everything moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nipp?
I'd like to welcome Mr. Strasser on board. It's a kind of an overwhelming task to try and make sense of some of this stuff, but hopefully in time, ask a lot of questions, and hopefully we'll have the answers. And I'd like to thank everybody for attending the meeting tonight. And hopefully that public can see that we are trying to get things back in order.
Thank you. Mr. Schwartzbaum?
Again, welcome board, to that. I wanna thank everybody that's here. Welcome back to our administrators, back to, the first day of wild school, I would assume, as getting the kids back. I think that, you know, none of us take it lightly what we gotta do, here. It works on, I think, all of us in different ways, but I think we have those right people in place. Andrea, I wanna thank you in particular, because I know it's a hardship. I know with having Leslie here too, that's been a great help. Mr. Ronco, thank you. I know you put in beyond the hours that you anticipated to do on that part of things. So I just want to welcome everybody back, and hopefully we'll have a extremely good weather that we can have throughout the rest of the school season.
Thank you. Mr. Meyer?
Welcome aboard, Tim.
Welcome back, I guess.
How many years ago?
Hate to say.
Get here then. It's true.
Yeah. Thank you to,
The gentleman for the financial presentation tonight, having those questions be able answered in person was a really great help. And wish everybody a successful second half of the school year. Thanks Andrea and Sam and Dean for all the hard work you guys are putting in. It is appreciated. And days will be back to normal.
Thank you. Mr. Priest?
I'd like to thank Tim for volunteering, coming here, and also to Jim back there for being also willing to be, putting his name out there to volunteer, representing the district. I'm also really thankful for Dan going out and doing all the work he is to get us in a better financial position than we were. I think with the district corporation resolution, we're probably going to do it for them a lot. Wish everyone a happy new year.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
I also want to start off with a thank you to Dan and Andrea. I feel like we have turned the corner. You're at least reassure us that we're getting closer, and we have a very open, transparent picture of what's going on. The efforts to maintain staff and at the levels that we're at is really appreciated. I think the community had a bit of angst about what was going to happen with their teachers, and I think it feels much better knowing that that piece is safe. I also wanted to say thank you to Jim. We appreciate that we had two good candidates for that position. Tim, welcome aboard, welcome back. Be looking forward to working with you as well. And then to the public, thank you for those that are here to be a part of the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you to the administrators for coming tonight. Thank you, Mr. Alger and Mr. Long, for providing us the information we got tonight. Welcome, Tim. Thanks, Jim. Thank you. I'd also like to thank the girls in the office here and Mr. Long for all the work they've been doing. And I want to thank the board too. It's been a lot of meetings in the last few months, but I appreciate everybody's work toward the task at hand. So I want to thank the board for it too.
May I say something? I just learned this afternoon, I tried to send out an email over break, assuring, or telling people, wishing, thanking them and assuring them that we were interested in their input when it came to cost savings and so on. Well, somehow, a lot of people didn't get the email, and now they think we may be out of a job. That, we'll get that sorted out tomorrow, but I just want to assure everybody that you're all part of it.
I got the email.
Bill did not.
Bill didn't.
Mrs. Circle didn't either.
I thought I thought the staff was everybody, but obviously it's not everybody, so I'll live and learn. The instant communication.
All right, we're looking for one last motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second on the floor to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
All right,
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Are you getting ready to go?
You got everything, that's, yours on, in all those spots. Done. Those for the rest of us coming. Gotta wait till